Hey everyone, welcome back to Beekeeping with Natalie, or welcome to if you are new. Today we're going to be talking about the uncapping tank and the hot knife from Pierce Beekeeping Equipment. I'm really excited to show you guys this stuff because we've been really happy with it and we really enjoy it. So we'll go ahead and start with the uncapping tank here. So this is what the lid looks like. It's really nice. The only thing is it does seem like the bees can sometimes get in it, but that's not that big of a problem if you're doing this inside. For us, we've just been in a dearth, so it's been a little bit of a struggle for us, but it's not too big of a deal. I know some people aren't big fans of the plastic, but I actually really like it, and it works really well. It does close all the way. I just have this stand here right now, so it's not closing. But there's what the lid looks like, and then we've already maybe used like 75 supers or so with this, so there's a lot of comb in here. We've already taken some out, but this is what it looks like right now with a bunch of comb in it. And so basically some of this is pretty new, so it's still draining out, but the big chunks stay on top here, and here you've got this filter. So it's getting all those big pieces of comb, but then they have this, I think it's 600 microns filter right here, and it's really nice. So when you have just like your normal supers and you're using them to uncap, or using this to uncap it, it'll go through here, through the stainless steel, and then it'll go through this right here. And so I'll lift this up. There's some bees in here right now, again, just because we're in a dearth, but you can see it's getting all of those small pieces. It's because once it makes it into this spot down here where the honey will stay to store if you want to, it is ready to go, ready to be bottled. But the thing is, we actually had some bees that decided to repurpose some wax, and it messed up some stuff, and there's all these little black pieces in our honey, so we're actually going ahead and putting it through this filter right here. So if you can come up close here, you can see there's some like black pieces in here. I'm not sure if you can see it or not, but we wanted to make sure we got those out because it didn't look super great in a bottle. But you don't have to do that. We're just doing that because the bees decided to repurpose some wax, which is totally fine, but it did mess us up a little bit. It always seems like each year we have something that the bees decide to do that messes up our plan, but that's all right. And basically this is the tank itself, and then right here is where the stand is, and I really like this stand. It does work pretty nice. I've had some bad experiences with stands in the past, but this one's pretty good here. So you can move this around. So you just pull these pieces off and move where you want it to, and then once you decide where you want it, you just screw it in. And once you screw it in, it's really nice and stable, and it stays right there, which is really great because then you don't have to worry about your frame moving or anything like that. We're going to show you how we uncap with this tank in a little bit, but we're also going to show you the knife, which I'll get to here in a second. And so that's basically the tank. We've used it a ton this year. We've also got this Man Lake tank, which I will do a little bit of a video on, just kind of mentioning it in our extracting video, which I'll get to a little later. But right now, this is definitely one of my favorites. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section. I'll do my best to get to those. Now I want to talk about the gate right here, because this is definitely a big, important thing. So this piece right here can hold up to 5 gallons, which is super nice because, like I had mentioned, once it goes through this filter right here, it's in here and it's ready to go. So we've got some places that like some 5-gallon buckets, and so we're able to just completely drain it all into a bucket, and it's just ready to go from there. We don't have to filter it or anything. But again, since those bees repurposed it, we are filtering it again through here. But I'm going to show you how to use this gate, or how we are using it. Hopefully I'm doing all of this correctly. We actually really like this gate. Actually, I want to show you this one real quick before we open this one up here. So this is from Amazon. This is just a random gate from Amazon. This is what it looks like. We've been using these for a while now. It's for the buckets, and originally we liked them. They weren't too bad, but over the years we figured out that they're really not that good. You can see here it's broken. It just broke off, and we've had this happen not just once, which already at that point it's definitely not something that we want to continue buying, because it's definitely pretty dangerous for us if we have a full 5-gallon bucket of honey and then this gate decides to break. It's not fun, and I think that's happened before. And so right here, there's a little seal here too. This has always started to fall apart, and it's not been super great. These screws right here start to turn black, and it messes it up, gets in honey, and then we have to clean them. So really these gates aren't very good, and I don't suggest these. They're just from Amazon. But since we've tried this gate out here, we really, really like it. And let's go ahead and show you how to use this one. So you've just got this spot. We were just using it, so it's dripping a little bit. You've got this little screw right here that you'll unscrew, and then you're able to lift the gate up. And I don't know if you can see, but right here there's this piece that you can basically pull this up, and then once you decide where you want it to go, you can screw this in. This is the right way, yeah. You can screw this in from this little piece right here. It's gonna stay right there, so honey's not gonna come out from the back here. And so it'll drain into this filter here, filter through that, and go into the bucket. This was up to 5 gallons, but we've used it so much that it's down. And it's gotten filled pretty quickly multiple times this year. I'll go ahead and close it because we're going to move on to show you the hot knife that they have. So yeah, there's what the gate looks like. It'll drip like this for a little bit, but that's all right. It's not that big of a deal. And then we'll show you their knife over here. So this is their hot knife. All of this is USA made, which is something that we want more in the beekeeping industry. And so here's what it looks like. It's a little dirty right now because we've been using it the whole year, and during our honey season, we've been using it to uncap. We only have one of these, but we actually might be looking into getting another one because it's so nice and it makes it so much easier. Last year we were using a bread knife just to cut it, and it worked, but it definitely takes a lot more time once we tried this one out. And so here's what it looks like, and it works great. It doesn't have a setting temperature, which I think is probably the best because you don't want to set it too high. And so you just plug it in and it turns on. So we're going to show you how to use this here in a second. One thing that I think we were definitely going to look into getting is the stand for one of these. Because right now we're using this comb cutter and we're just using it to set it on, which it works fine, but we definitely like to look into getting a stand, which is on their website, and I will definitely link that in the description down below so that you can check out some of these things if you want to buy it. And then I did want to show this one last thing. This is the bucket frame holder that we were using from last year. I'm just going to scoot back here for a second. This is what we were using last year, and it worked pretty good actually. I really like these stands because the frames fit really nice in this holder right here. You can do deeps also, which is really great, and it has a spot right here where the bucket goes on perfectly. And so these are really great if you're still doing buckets, if you're still uncapping into buckets. I definitely recommend getting these. We'll leave a link in the description. We just got them off of Amazon. It was something that we looked into randomly throughout the year because it was really difficult trying to uncap into the bucket and not having a stand. All right, so I'm going to move all this stuff off here. That way I can get to these frames. So we're going to show you how actually I'm going to move this over here, how we uncap this. One thing I want to mention before we do this is these frames aren't fully drawn out because what we did on accident was we put 10 frames in our super. And it's better to do 9 because you'll build out those frames a little bit more. And so it's a lot easier to uncap that way. But these ones, I'm not sure, like these ones will probably work. We'll be able to get these. This one actually might be a comb frame. I think it is. So I'm not going to uncap this one. I'm not sure why these two are in here. But like this one, I'll try to uncap. I don't know if you can kind of see, but it's a little bit thicker. And so hopefully it'll be a little bit easier to uncap this. And so we're going to go ahead and try that. So I'm going to walk over here just because the knife is over here. So the stand has this screw right here that is nice and sharp. And so you just lay the frame right on top of it. And it doesn't move. Well, I mean, it moves like this, but it's not going to fall off. And so you can turn it around to get the other side. Looks like there's a beetle right here. Well, I'll have to get that later. Anyway, so here's the knife, and we'll just go ahead and show you how we use it. I believe this is the right way, but we'll make kind of a little bit of a notch at the top here. You want to be careful, definitely, just because it is hot. And then just slide it on down. It might not get all of it. Hopefully it will. Looks like it will, actually. These outside pieces right here are definitely making it a little bit harder. but it's not too bad. So it looks like it's not getting all of it right there, which isn't on the knife, that's more so on us, and just because we didn't add 9 to that super. So if you're wanting to really, just if you're uncapping with like any type of knife, it's really easier to do it with 9 frames because they'll build it out more. So what we'll do is we'll take the scraper here, which is what we used a lot in the past, and we'll just scrape it off like this. That takes time though, so I'm gonna leave it over here so my dad can get to that, because that's the boring stuff and not important, so he can get to that later. But I'm just gonna do the same thing on the other side here. This is a nice frame here. So let's just take this off. It looks really great also because it's not pulling the comb. It's just sliding right off. So, oops, that was me. This is my first time doing it today, so I'm a little rusty, but it looks great because it doesn't pull on the comb, it just cuts it right off. We've had some, like the bread knife sometimes will just pull the comb off of the frame and it doesn't work super great. But this one just cuts it perfectly and it looks great. And so again, we'll just use the little scraper to get that off. And then I'm gonna do one more frame. So I'm just gonna set this in here. Typically you would go ahead and put it right into your extractor, but I'll get to that in a second. And let's see. I'm not sure if it's gonna get these frames, but we'll try it. So it's just the same thing. And once you figure it out, which doesn't take long, you can blow through some of these frames really quickly. And if we're able to get 3 people going on uncapping, it goes quickly. So you can see it didn't get some pieces on the outside, but those are easy just to get with the scraper. Actually, I'll just turn this around. So it's nice because you don't have to set this down to move the frame. You can just spin it around. This side looks like it'll cut nicely. So this has been a good upgrade for us because we were just using the buckets, and so this has been nice, and we've really enjoyed having this. All right. This year's honey flow has been pretty good, and we're really happy with it so far. Now, one thing I do want to mention, this is just one thing that I think could maybe be added to this uncapping tank that would just make it so much better. It's already amazing, but I think if they could make it just a little bit wider and maybe a little bit deeper, it would be really, really nice because it just doesn't quite fit right here. I mean, it fits like this, but you can't set the frame down like you would in like a super. And so if they could just make it a little bit wider, because then you could set the frames down while you've got some honey spinning, because we can uncap while we're extracting, and then we're able to pull those frames out of the extractor and put new ones right in, which makes it really, really easy and nice. And so that's really the only thing. They could just make it a little bit deeper and a little bit wider. But other than that, this is a really, really nice tank, and we really like the knife. There's really nothing about the knife that I think needs fixing. It's really nice and it works great. We want to thank Pierce also to giving the opportunity to us to be able to try out these products. We really enjoyed it, and we really are thankful for these companies that are willing to send us some stuff to review. And I just want to say again that these are my full opinions. So if you're looking into a tank and you're just a hobby beekeeper or a pretty good sized beekeeper, you could definitely try this tank out, and I think it would work out really, really great. So thanks for watching. Follow along for more bee adventures and be here next time on Beekeeping with Natalie.